Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Gold at almost $1,500 an ounce? What? And what is this manipulation you speak of? Let's explore. Yes, this is an article here from Nasdaq.com that talks about what could depress the price of gold. It's talking about manipulation, and this is a sort of a stream of consciousness type of article here from Avi Gilbert. We'll explore here, and we'll give some examples of what possibly could be or maybe not an example. We'll find out. We've had this happen before, and I discussed it in another video, and this was actually shared with me as far as the actual spikes by Angel P Music, who has made a return, who actually has some insider knowledge about the markets. So anyways, this goes on to say that the author here says they've got to be honest and tell you that they're literally chuckling to write some of the articles. The last gold article was where the author was certainly chuckling while writing it, and how many other analysts across the internet look and ask to take them to task for something about which they thought the author was being serious. The sense of humor is not something that every reader possesses. Probably hard to do, hard to get that through the written word as well. So many of the gold writers have their heads buried so deep in the sand or elsewhere that they cannot even understand when someone is poking fun at their conspiracy or manipulation theories. And to think that they view my theory of aliens causing a rise in gold as any different than some of the conspiracy theories they present is nothing less than laughable. But everyone has their theories, just as they say everyone has an armpit, and many stink. Well, I have to now identify what is going on. I have now identified what is going to crush the price of gold in the coming years. Yes, you heard me right. The rally is over. The rally is kaput. This rally is finished, and this time it may not be aliens we will blame, but certainly something else that is in outer space. NASA headed towards a giant golden asteroid that could make everyone on Earth a billionaire. You've heard me cover that article before, too. There's many articles written in all seriousness, yet there are underlying assumptions that are just as laughable. We all read such articles. The past week, I can no longer count how many have been posting about manipulation in the metals market because of the latest publicized case regarding manipulation. But there is such a lack of understanding about these cases that many writers present them as wholesale proof of how the metals market was manipulated to drop between 2011 and 2015. So here is the different types of manipulation that are out there according to the article. There are two types of manipulation that are discussed in the market. Number one, manipulation that supposedly caused the metals to drop from 2011 to 2015, and spoofing, which is manipulating the bid-ask price to earn pennies on trades. It's also something I'm very familiar with, that word in another context, and that is people using falsified phone numbers that appear to be in your local area so that you'll pick up the phone. You see, the manipulation that occurs in number two, spoofing, absolutely exists in the markets. And I believe the author there. This is the type of manipulation that's being addressed in these cases we see so often in the news. And what manipulation theorists do not highlight is that this type of manipulation occurs in both directions on the market. Very important to think about both directions. If you read the actual complaints filed in these cases, you would see that this manipulation occurs in both directions. Yet the manipulation theorist would have you believe that simply because manipulation cases have been brought, the market is manipulated to only drop, such as we saw during the 2011 through 2015 time frame. Unfortunately, their argument and perspective is the same as claiming that a paper cut caused the market to bleed to death. It's ridiculous and factually inaccurate. Yet many of them are just not burdened by the facts. The author has addressed this before in this article. I do not have to restate the obvious arguments, so let's deal with the realities of the market rather than the fantasies. I warned several weeks ago that gold is set up to take off like a rocket ship, and after we certainly took off, the metals market is in a very bullish posture at this time. Actually, it's coming back down. The only reason is how much of a pullback we will see before we head much higher in the coming months. And to this point, there are two camps of thought. The first is that the market will simply continue higher in a very strong move with shallow pullbacks and consolidation, which is what I am allowing the market to do before I would consider adopting the second camp of thought. However, the second camp of thought was presented by the Stockwaves analyst last week, and there's a video apparently there. But so as long as GLD remains over 130 to 131, I'm leaving the door wide open for more immediate and stronger rally to take hold that is pointing us next to 138 and potentially well beyond. And should we continue higher, it will continue to move up our support as outlined to our members. And so anyways, then it talks about kind of what that is. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. No one can really, predict what's going to happen. There's sentiment. There's out there. A lot of it's psychology in the markets and the like. But I do agree with the author here about spoofing. Although this article is kind of written so kind of casually here and kind of jokingly there. But how does that manifest itself? On a live stream that I posted, when the markets opened up in Asia, we saw great spikes in the price of silver and gold. Very strange activity. And turns out it was just glitches only at Kitco. But it could be that those spikes and everything like that, which tend to be smoothed out in time or work themselves out, that could be also an indication of some of what this manipulation, spoofing, manipulating the bid price asked to earn pennies on trades. And that could have happened then. We just don't know. A lot of stuff's not publicized. And again, they kind of get smoothed out. But it also could have been a glitch, But this occurred over about a half an hour's time. And those videos I actually took and posted a video about it the next day because it was so interesting and odd. I'd never seen anything like that before. It was a rather chaotic live stream when we did that market analysis, But nonetheless, we saw the same thing occur this morning at around 6 a.m. and only at Provident Metals charts here. And as you know, I've posted videos about this too, that the spot price is different dealers show spot price in different ways. And certainly this is something that, different. However, I don't know what is an actual accurate. There's no real Greenwich time, so to speak, or, no standard for what gold and silver prices are. I think some people believe that, in the coming out of the COMEX or what have you, whatever the first line, the LBMA, I don't know where you would get the actual true prices of gold and silver. Nonetheless, we can see here the 24-hour spot price that it creeped up very quickly at around 3:25 a.m. Smacked right back down, but then it moved in this realm just under $1,500 for quite a few hours here before being smacked down several times. And you can see the movement activities up just under that $1,500 range. Seemed like a normal trading time period. You can see the movement in between cents and the 1491 level. It wasn't where it just capped off like here. The markets were closed. So it hung at 1410.90 there for that time, which would be considered an anomaly if it was doing that up here. Like, what's going on here? But then it was a smackdown. This is from about 3:25 up until 7:40 a.m. So this is quite interesting, quite fascinating indeed to see that movement. So there you have it. Very interesting indeed. Was this just a glitch, or was this manipulation in the upwards direction? For some of the reasons mentioned in this article below here. Now I looked here on goldprice.com. And I could not see anything here from those hours. Let's see here. to reflect that kind of movement here. Nothing in here. Let's pull this back here between 2 and 8. There's the hours between 3:25 and 8 o'clock here. Nothing here that showed that kind of activity here. So I don't know if it was just something, a glitch possibly with Provident Metal's website. Also checked Kitco, and Kitco has had glitches before, but they smoothed them out. Were those numbers indicated at Kitco's website and then they smoothed out? I don't know. Because it's not evident here. It's only on Provident Metal's website where these numbers are coming from. And of course, I don't know what the source is for these numbers, if they have their own charting or what. But nonetheless, we can see that what's been going on here with gold, and at least for this hours, this is a strange thing. Just under $1,500 and a very seemingly smooth movement here in that range, with the aside from these smackdowns during that period. So post your thoughts below. Is this something we should be concerned about? Is this an example of manipulation, at least captured by Provident Metal's charts? And what are your views on manipulation? And do you agree with the author of this article about manipulation? And as far as spoofing, and is there something to be said, or is there any evidence for number one, manipulation that supposedly caused metals to drop from 2011 to 2015? I don't think there really is. I believe there's much more natural market forces at play that can cause the precious metals to move in the way that they do, other than spoofing, which is done, and it's only done in a short span of time. But there we may have seen an example of it. I don't know. We shall see. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.